Hello and welcome back, YouTube. This is Atlas Thugged coming back with my second commentary video. Um, as you can see right here, we have our wonderful GOP House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Um, this was an issue brought up by Marjorie Taylor Greene, I believe, about a year ago, maybe even a bit longer than that. I believe it was her and Thomas Massey were both on Tim Pool's IRL podcast when she let it be known that when she was removed from most of her subcommittees because they didn't want her to have, or I guess Nancy Pelosi didn't want her to have any kind of say or reasonable say in anything or any power that would be happening going on, it kind of left her without a committee. And so what she would do was um she would force the people to come in and vote. And here we see, after the Freedom Caucus, led by Matt Gaetz and a few others, now bringing Kevin McCarthy to accept this as what we're going to be doing from here on forward. I think it's wonderful to see a step in the right direction for what we want, but I can't say it doesn't feel like someone's dropping me a little breadcrumb to feel better about the direction we're moving. I mean, big whoop. This is what you guys should have been doing from the beginning. You mean to feel good that you're making people work that get paid, what is it, the base salary of $200,000? Like, that's ridiculous, man. Like, this should have been happening for decades. Like, and then the fact that not we, Kevin McCarthy comes in and now he's going to take this stance. Time will tell on Kevin McCarthy. But you can see here, this is from Breitbart. Kevin McCarthy, no more proxy voting. Lawmakers have to show up to work. You'll see here, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy reaffirmed his position on proxy voting Thursday morning, stating lawmakers have to show up for work instead of having someone else vote for them. This was a precedent pushed out by Marjorie Taylor Greene. And here we have it going full. Man, that's some wind. I don't know if you can hear that being picked up. And here we have it in full swing. McCarthy, who already had a successful week as Speaker, I wouldn't know if you'd call that successful. I mean, brother basically got humiliated and memed out for a week because Matt Gaetz refused to give him his vote. But about time, right? I think I'm speaking for a lot of people when they say our lawmakers need to work. Go, well, about beep time. Like, come on, man. When the Democrat majority instituted the rule nearly 3 years ago, on May 15th, 2020, supposedly due to the Chinese coronavirus pandemic, House Republicans were mainly in favor of changing the proxy voting rule. The rule was initially so business could be conducted without members having to be at the U.S. Capitol in person. But as we would have well predicted from the Democrats at least, it was quickly abused, or I should say the Uniparty, they're all the same. But it was quickly abused by lawmakers. Some lawmakers cited that they could not vote in person due to the ongoing pandemic. Despite attending in person campaign events, going on trips with the president, and even vacationing in Europe. I think there's a lot of popular instances where this was the case, where Representative X is, I can't make it to work, I can't come to vote, send a proxy vote, and then is caught literally minutes later on the campaign trail, shaking hands, no mask. You know how it goes. I'm curious to understand, is this really going to cause a church-like commission into January 6th? Are we heading in the right directions? Or is this just simply bigger and bigger breadcrumb pieces leading us to keep and install the same establishment politicians who have been doing this the entire time? Um, it's just hard for me to see that this was Kevin McCarthy said this with his chest. Like, especially when you see his mannerisms and behaviors. I mean, on the House floor. I mean, I see we can probably pull this up. Right, let's see. House floor, Kevin, Matt Gaetz. This is from CNN, right? Here it is. The 14th Speaker vote underway. Gaetz votes present. But look, the pacing up and down the floor, the arguing in a group. It's hard watching this as someone who has even a minor grip on how the politics in this country function, and not just laugh at this. There's just this, like, what is this circus that we run? What is this absolute circus that we run? And mad props to Matt Gaetz for leading this, right? Like, if it wasn't for this guy right here, we probably wouldn't have gotten these pushes. With him nominating Jim Jordan, with him standing with the Freedom Caucus, it's 20 members, making sure, I mean, there was even a clip where he was seen talking with AOC, where when he talked about it, he was trying to convince her to make sure that the Democrats would keep coming in to vote. Because if less and less Democrats would have shown up to vote, it would have lowered the majority threshold, and it wouldn't have mattered the 20 votes that the Freedom Caucus was holding out, or the 19 or 18 or however many it kept dwindling down as they stood there and it didn't change. I mean, and a lot of it's this guy, right? It was Matt Gaetz who led it and put his face on it and branded it. And again, we just have another instance of someone who was absolutely like dragged through the media over a bunch of false claims, a bunch of just charges that got dismissed. And here he is, probably the most well-spoken, independent, center, right-leaning, independent, free thought, free speech activists, advocates. Like, he is the model for what we should keep installing into our Congress. I mean, at this point, it's like anything less than Matt Gaetz, I don't want it. You might as well be Pelosi. You might as well be Eric Swalwell. You might as well be Adam Kinzinger. If you were not on the level of Matt Gaetz, then I think we outright go, why is this better? How is this any better? What purpose do you even serve by holding your just washed down, like, middle of the road viewpoint? I mean, it's worthless now. We need real physical change immediately. I mean, who was it? Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel even said a year ago, we have about 3 years to right these wrongs before we become a absolute abysmal communist mosh that we won't be able to recover from. And with that, that's all for this video. I appreciate you tuning in. Peace out.
More